My name is Faith, and I am 34 years old. Christmas has always been my favorite time of year. The scent of pine, the warmth of family gathered around a crackling fire, the joy in my daughter's eyes as she unwraps presents. For as long as I can remember, my parents hosted the most beautiful Christmas celebrations. But this year, something changed. My mother called and told me the party was adults only. No children allowed, including my 7-year-old daughter Lily. I didn't understand, but I tried to accept it. I thought maybe they wanted something more sophisticated this year. But when I walked through that door on Christmas night, everything I believed about my family shattered in an instant. Before I tell you what happened that night, I want to know something. Have you ever felt like your own family chose someone else over your child? Drop a comment and let me know where you are watching from. And if you have ever had to stand up for your kid when no one else would hit that like button, you are going to want to hear how this story ends. I live in Seattle with my daughter Lily. She is 7 years old, full of energy, curious about everything, and yes, sometimes a little wild. But that is what I love about her. She is authentic. She does not pretend to be someone she is not. After my divorce 2 years ago, Lily and I created our own little world in a cozy apartment near Green Lake. Her father, Marcus, lives in Portland now. We share custody, and despite our marriage not working out, we are good co-parents. Marcus adores Lily, and she adores him. Our arrangement works well. She spends every other weekend with him, and we alternate holidays. I work at a small interior design firm downtown. The pay is not extraordinary, but it allows me to have flexible hours, which means I can pick Lily up from school most days. We have our routines. Tuesday nights are pizza and homework nights. Thursdays, we go to the library. Saturdays, we explore different neighborhoods, trying new bakeries or visiting parks. Our life is simple, but it is ours, and we are happy. Christmas, though, has always belonged to my family. My parents, Robert and Patricia, live in a beautiful house in Bellevue. My father is 68, retired from his career as an architect. My mother is 65, a former elementary school teacher who now spends her time gardening and volunteering at the local historical society. They have been married for 42 years, and their home has always been the center of our family gatherings. My older brother Thomas is 37. He is a corporate lawyer married to Diane, who works in pharmaceutical sales. They have 2 children. Max is 10, quiet and studious, always buried in a book. Chloe is 8, sweet and obedient, the kind of child who asks permission before doing anything. Thomas and Diane live in Sammamish, about 20 minutes from our parents. They visit frequently, often joining my parents for Sunday dinners. Growing up, Christmas at my parents' house was magical. My mother would start decorating the day after Thanksgiving, garlands wrapped around the staircase banister, white lights twinkling in every window, a 12-foot Douglas fir in the living room decorated with ornaments collected over decades. My father would string lights outside, creating a display that neighbors came to admire. On Christmas Eve, we would attend midnight mass together, then return home for hot cocoa and homemade cookies. Christmas morning meant stockings first, then a big breakfast, followed by opening presents one at a time so everyone could appreciate each gift. When Lily was born, I imagined her growing up with these same traditions. And for the first 5 years of her life, that is exactly what happened. She loved going to Grandma and Grandpa's house. She would run through the rooms, examining every decoration, helping my mother bake cookies, sitting on my father's lap while he read "'Twas the Night Before Christmas." Those memories are precious to me. They represent everything I wanted for my daughter, a sense of belonging, a connection to something bigger than just the 2 of us. So when my mother called in early December, I answered with excitement. I expected her to tell me about this year's menu or ask what Lily wanted from Santa. Instead, her tone was formal, almost businesslike. "Faith, dear, your father and I are doing something different this year," she said. "We are hosting a Christmas party, but it is going to be adults only. A more sophisticated gathering. You understand, don't you?" I held the phone trying to process what she was saying. "Adults only. You mean no kids at all?" "That is correct. We have invited some friends from the club, a few of your father's former colleagues. We thought it would be nice to have an elegant evening without the chaos that children can bring. Chaos. The word stung a little, but I pushed the feeling aside. What about Lily? She always looks forward to Christmas at your house. Perhaps she can stay with Marcus that night? My mother's voice was pleasant but firm. I am sure you two can work something out. After all, it is just 1 year. Next year, we will go back to the usual family gathering. I wanted to argue to tell her how much this tradition meant to Lily to me, but something in my mother's tone made me stop. She had already made up her mind. Pushing back would only create tension. So I agreed. I told myself it was not a big deal. 1 year without the big family Christmas would not hurt anyone. The next day I called Marcus. Hey, I know this is last minute, but would you be able to take Lily on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day this year? Sure, he said without hesitation. What's going on? I explained about my parents' adults-only party. Marcus was quiet for a moment. That is kind of weird, isn't it? Your parents have never done anything like that before. I know, but they want something different this year. I guess they are entitled to change things up. I guess so. Well, Lily is always welcome here. We will make it fun. Maybe I will take her to see the Christmas lights at the grotto. When I told Lily about the change in plans, her face fell. I don't get to go to Grandma and Grandpa's house. Not this year, sweetie. They are having a different kind of party. But you get to spend extra time with Daddy, and that will be fun, right? She nodded, but I could see the disappointment in her eyes. Why does not Grandma want me there? The question pierced my heart. It is not that she does not want you there, honey. It is just a grown-up party this year. You know, boring adult stuff. You would not have fun anyway. And Lily seemed to accept this explanation, but I noticed she was quieter than usual for the rest of the evening. That night, I watched her draw Christmas cards at the kitchen table. She made one for her grandparents, carefully coloring a Christmas tree and writing, "I love you, Grandma and Grandpa," in her crooked 7-year-old handwriting. She spent her allowance money at the dollar store picking out a snow globe for my mother and a coffee mug that said "World's Best Grandpa" for my father. She wrapped them carefully in newspaper and tied them with ribbons she found in my craft drawer. Looking at those gifts, I felt a heaviness in my chest. But I reminded myself that this was just 1 year. Next Christmas, everything would go back to normal. A week before Christmas, I stopped at the grocery store to pick up ingredients for the cookies Lily and I planned to bake. As I was selecting butter from the dairy case, I heard someone call my name. Faith. How wonderful to see you. And I turned to see Susan, one of my mother's oldest friends. She had been at every family gathering I could remember, always bringing her famous eggnog and singing carols in a surprisingly strong soprano voice. Hi, Susan. How are you? Oh, I am wonderful, dear. So excited for your mother's party. It sounds absolutely delightful. I have been working on a new eggnog recipe. I think it is going to be spectacular. I smiled politely. I am sure everyone will love it. Are you bringing anything Patricia mentioned? The caterer is handling most of the food, but I thought a few homemade touches would be nice. We chatted for a few more minutes about recipes and holiday plans. Then, as she was about to walk away, she said something that made me pause. It is probably for the best anyway, having it this way. All the grandchildren staying home means no one has to worry about broken ornaments or spilled drinks. I blinked. All the grandchildren... Oh, yes. Patricia was very clear about that when she invited us. No children this year. I imagine Thomas and Diane had to make arrangements, too. After Susan walked away, I stood in the middle of the dairy aisle, my mind racing. All the grandchildren. That meant not just Lily. Max and Chloe were not invited either. For some reason, this made me feel slightly better. At least it was not just Lily being excluded. It was all the kids. My parents genuinely wanted an adults-only event, but something still felt off. I could not quite put my finger on it. That evening I called Thomas. We did not talk as often as we probably should. Our lives had taken different paths, and while we were cordial at family gatherings, we were not particularly close anymore. "Hey, Thomas, just calling to check in. How are things?" "Busy as always. You know how it is. End of year stuff at work, holiday shopping, the usual chaos." We made small talk for a few minutes. Then I casually brought up Christmas. "So, what are you guys doing with Max and Chloe for Mom and Dad's party?" "Oh, Diane's parents are taking them for the night. They are going to stay over there, do some Christmas activities." Diane was not thrilled about missing Christmas Eve with the kids, but Mom really wanted this adults-only thing, so we figured we would go along with it. His tone was casual, unbothered, but something about it felt wrong. Thomas had always been very involved with his children's activities. He coached Max's soccer team. He helped Chloe with her science projects. The idea that he would so easily agree to miss Christmas Eve with them seemed out of character. "Are Max and Chloe okay with it?" I asked. "Yeah, they are fine. Diane's parents spoil them rotten, so they will have a great time." We talked for a few more minutes before ending the call, but after I hung up, I sat staring at my phone. Thomas's voice had been too light, too unconcerned. And why would Diane's parents take the kids on Christmas Eve when they usually spent that time with us? Something was not adding up, but I could not figure out what. 3 days before Christmas, I was scrolling through Facebook during my lunch break when I saw a post from Diane. It was a photo of Max and Chloe standing in what looked like a department store dressing room. Max wore a new button-down shirt and dress pants. Chloe had on a beautiful red velvet dress with white lace trim. The caption read, "Getting the kids ready for something special." I stared at the photo. Why would Max and Chloe need fancy clothes if they were just going to Diane's parents' house? I clicked on the comments. Several of Diane's friends had responded with heart emojis and comments like, "They look so grown up," and "special occasion." I typed a comment, "They look beautiful. What is the special occasion?" Diane responded within minutes. "Just a little family thing. Nothing major, a little family thing. On Christmas, when my parents were having their adults-only party." My stomach twisted. I told myself I was reading too much into it. Maybe Diane's parents were taking them to a fancy restaurant. Maybe they were going to a holiday show. It did not have to mean anything suspicious, but I could not shake the feeling that something was being hidden from me. That evening, I called my mother. I tried to sound casual, cheerful. "Hi, Mom. Just wanted to check in about Christmas. Do you need me to bring anything?" "No, dear. Everything is taken care of. The caterer is handling the food, and I have the house decorated beautifully. You just need to show up." "Sounds perfect. So it is just going to be family and a few friends." "Yes, some people from the club, a few of your father's old colleagues. Nothing too large. About 20 people, I think." "And definitely no kids, right? I saw Diane posted pictures of Max and Chloe in fancy clothes. Are they going somewhere special?" There was a pause. Just a brief hesitation, but I caught it. "I have no idea what Thomas's family is doing, Faith. You will have to ask them." Her voice had gone cold-clipped. The warmth that had been there moments before had vanished. "Mom, is everything okay?" "Everything is fine. I just have a lot to do before the party. Was there anything else you needed?" "No, I just wanted to make sure everything was all set." "It is. I will see you Christmas night at 7. She hung up before I could say goodbye. I sat holding the phone, feeling more confused and uneasy than before. My mother's tone had shifted so suddenly, so completely. What had I said to cause that reaction? That night, I barely slept. I kept thinking about Susan's comment, about Thomas's too casual voice, about Diane's evasive answer, about my mother's sudden coldness. All these small moments kept circling in my mind, forming a picture I did not want to see. By morning, I had made a decision. I needed to know the truth. I called my Aunt Helen, my mother's older sister. Helen had always been straightforward, sometimes brutally so. If anyone would tell me what was really going on, it would be her. Aunt Helen, it is Faith. Do you have a minute? Of course, sweetheart. What is going on? Are you going to Mom and Dad's Christmas party? No, I was not invited. She said it matter-of-factly, without any hurt in her voice. Your mother said she wanted to keep it small this year, just close friends and immediate family. But she invited people from the club and Dad's old colleagues. Yes, well, that is your mother for you. She has her own way of categorizing people. Helen paused. Why are you asking, is something wrong? I told her about my suspicions about all the little things that were not adding up. Helen listened without interrupting. When I finished, she sighed. Faith, I do not know all the details, but I will tell you this. Your mother has been planning something for weeks. She has been very secretive about it. I asked her what was so special about this year's party, and she just said it was going to be exactly what she wanted. Those were her exact words. Exactly what she wanted. After we hung up, I sat in my car in the parking lot of my office building. I was supposed to be heading into a client meeting, but I could not move. Helen's words echoed in my mind. Exactly what she wanted. What did that mean? I did not have to wait long to find out. The next afternoon, I decided to pick up coffee from the shop near my parents' neighborhood. I told myself it was just a coincidence that I happened to be in the area, but the truth was I needed to see their house to see if there was any evidence of what was really happening. As I drove past, I saw a catering van in the driveway. Nothing unusual about that. But then I saw something that made me pull over. Max and Chloe were in the front yard running around with Chloe's new red dress visible under her winter coat. They were laughing, chasing each other around the big oak tree. My hands gripped the steering wheel so hard my knuckles turned white. Max and Chloe were at my parents' house, 2 days before Christmas, wearing fancy clothes, when they were supposed to be going to Diane's parents' house for the actual party. I sat there for 10 minutes watching them play. I saw my mother come to the door smiling, waving at them to come inside. I saw Thomas's car parked on the street. They were all there, all of them, without me, without Lily. I drove home in a daze. When I walked into my apartment, Lily was at the kitchen table coloring. She looked up and smiled. Hi, Mommy, I made you a picture. It was a drawing of our family. Me, Lily, my parents, Thomas, Diane, Max, Chloe. We were all standing in front of a Christmas tree holding hands. At the top she had written, "My family," in careful letters. I had to leave the room. I went into my bedroom, closed the door, and let the tears come. My daughter thought we were all one big happy family. She had no idea that she was being left out, excluded, rejected by the very people she loved most. I pulled out my phone and called Thomas. This time I was not going to let him dodge my questions. "Why did you lie to me?" I said as soon as he answered. "Faith, what are you talking about?" "I just drove past Mom and Dad's house. Max and Chloe are there. Your kids are going to the party. Are not they?" Silence. Long, heavy silence. Then a sigh. "Faith, I did not want to get involved in this." "Involved in what?" "Tell me what is going on, Thomas." Another sigh. "Mom and Dad wanted to have a special celebration this year, just for Max and Chloe. They thought it would be nice to do something focused on them. And Lily. What about Lily?" "Faith, you know how Lily can be. She is energetic and loud, and sometimes she breaks things. Mom and Dad just thought it would be easier if this year was more controlled." The words hit me like a physical blow. "Are you telling me that our parents are having a Christmas celebration for your children, but not mine because they think Lily is too much trouble?" "It is not like that. They just wanted something calmer this year. Lily can be overwhelming sometimes, you know that." "She is 7 years old, Thomas. She is a child. All children are energetic." "Max and Chloe are not like that. They know how to behave in nice settings." I could not believe what I was hearing. My own brother was justifying this. He was going along with our parents' decision to exclude Lily, and he was defending it. So you just went along with it? You let them exclude your niece, and you said nothing. Faith, I have my own family to think about. Diane wanted the kids to be included in the celebration. I was not going to tell my own children they could not go because it would hurt your feelings. This is not about my feelings, Thomas. This is about a 7-year-old girl who adores her grandparents and has no idea they have decided she is not good enough. That is not what they decided. They just wanted something different this year. They wanted something without Lily. Say it, Thomas. They wanted a Christmas without my daughter because they have decided she is inferior to your perfect children. I am not going to have this conversation. You are being dramatic. I am being a mother, something you should understand considering you have 2 kids. I do understand. That is why I am protecting my children's relationship with their grandparents. Maybe if you disciplined Lily better, this would not be an issue. I hung up before I said something I could not take back. I was shaking with rage and hurt. My brother, the person I had grown up with, shared a room with during family vacations, built blanket forts with on rainy afternoons, had just told me that my daughter was the problem. That if I were a better mother, my parents would not be excluding her. I looked at myself in the bathroom mirror. My eyes were red, my hands were still trembling. But beneath the hurt and anger, something else was forming. A cold, clear determination. I was going to that party, not because I wanted to celebrate, not because I wanted to pretend everything was fine. I was going because I needed to see it with my own eyes. I needed to look my parents in the face and understand how they could do this to their own granddaughter. And then I was going to make sure they understood exactly what they had done. Christmas Eve arrived. I dropped Lily off at Marcus's apartment in Portland early in the morning. She had her overnight bag packed with her favorite stuffed animals and the new pajamas I had bought her. Marcus answered the door with a smile. "Ready for our adventure?" he asked Lily. "Yes. Are we really going to see the Christmas lights tonight?" "Absolutely. And we will make hot chocolate with extra marshmallows." Lily hugged me goodbye. "I will miss you, Mommy. But I will see you tomorrow, right?" "Right. I will pick you up tomorrow afternoon and we will open presents together." "Will you tell Grandma and Grandpa I said Merry Christmas?" The question broke my heart all over again. "Of course, baby." Marcus walked me to my car. "Are you okay?" he asked quietly. I had told him everything the night before. He had listened without interrupting, and when I finished, he had said just one thing. "Those people do not deserve her." Now standing in his parking lot on Christmas Eve, I shook my head. "No, but I am going to be okay. After tonight, things are going to change. Do you want me to come with you?" I appreciated the offer, but this was something I needed to do alone. "No, but thank you." I drove back to Seattle, went home, and tried to keep myself busy. I cleaned the apartment. I wrapped the presents I had bought for Lily. I tried to watch a movie but could not focus. Finally, at 5:30, I started getting ready. I chose a simple black dress, elegant but not flashy. I did my makeup carefully, making sure I looked composed strong. I was not going to this party as a victim. I was going as a mother who knew her worth and her daughter's worth. At 6:45, I got in my car and drove to Bellevue. The streets were quiet. Most people were home with their families enjoying Christmas Eve. I thought about all the other Christmases I had driven these same streets filled with excitement and joy. Now I felt only a strange, calm determination. I parked on the street in front of my parents' house at exactly 7 o'clock. The house was lit up beautifully, just as it always was. White lights outlined every window and doorway. The big wreath hung on the front door. Through the windows I could see the Christmas tree glittering with ornaments. I walked up the path and opened the front door without knocking. I had always been welcome in this house. I was family. Or at least I used to be. The scene inside was exactly what I had feared and exactly what I had expected. The living room was decorated beautifully with garlands and candles. Christmas music played softly in the background. About 15 people were scattered around the room holding wine glasses and chatting. The dining room table was set with my mother's best china. Platters of elegant appetizers covered the sideboard, and there in the middle of it all were Max and Chloe. Max wore his new button-down shirt and looked uncomfortable but well-behaved. Chloe twirled in her red velvet dress, showing it off to anyone who would look. My parents sat on the sofa, smiling at them, my mother's hand resting affectionately on Chloe's shoulder. Thomas and Diane stood near the fireplace, drinks in hand, looking perfectly content. Some of the guests I recognized, others I did not. Everyone looked happy, relaxed, enjoying themselves. No one had noticed me yet. I stood in the doorway, taking it all in. This was not an adults-only party. This was a family Christmas celebration, the kind we had always had. Except Lily was not here. Lily was specifically, deliberately not here. Then Max saw me. His face lit up. "Aunt Faith." He ran across the room and threw his arms around me. "You are here." "Where is Lily? I want to show her my new book." The room went silent. Every head turned toward me. My mother's face went pale. Thomas froze his wine glass halfway to his mouth. Diane's eyes widened. My father slowly stood up from the sofa. I hugged Max, feeling the innocence of his question pierce my heart. "Lily is not here tonight, sweetheart." "Why not? Grandma said this is a family party." Out of the mouths of children. Max's simple, honest question summed up everything that was wrong with this situation. I straightened up, looking directly at my mother. "Yes, Mom, you told me this was an adults-only party, but I see Max and Chloe here." My mother opened her mouth, then closed it. She looked at my father, then at Thomas, as if hoping someone would rescue her. "Faith, you are early. We were just about to—" "About to what?" "About to hide the children before I arrived, about to pretend this is something it is not." Several guests shifted uncomfortably. One couple I did not recognize exchanged glances and started moving toward the door. My father stood up, using his height to try to intimidate me into backing down. It had worked when I was younger. "Faith, this is not the time or place for this discussion." "Then when is the time, Dad?" "When were you planning to tell me that my daughter is not welcome in this family?" Thomas finally found his voice. "Faith, let's talk about this in private." "You are embarrassing yourself." "I am embarrassing myself." I looked at my brother with something close to pity. "No, Thomas, you and Mom and Dad are the ones who should be embarrassed. You lied to me. You told me no children were coming to this party, but what you meant was no Lily. My daughter was specifically excluded while your children were specifically included." Chloe, sensing the tension, moved closer to Diane. Max looked confused and worried. I hated that they had to witness this, but I also knew they needed to understand what was happening. Someday they would be old enough to know that their grandparents had played favorites, had drawn lines between grandchildren, had decided one was more worthy than the others. My mother finally stood up. Her face was flushed, whether from embarrassment or anger, I could not tell. "Since you are determined to do this publicly, fine. You want the truth." Faith Lily is undisciplined. She does not behave like Max and Chloe. Every time she is here, something gets broken, someone gets hurt. I am tired of making excuses for her. I am tired of having to watch every valuable item in my house because your daughter does not understand the word no. The words hung in the air like poison. Several guests looked shocked. One woman put her hand over her mouth. Thomas stared at the floor. Diane pulled Chloe closer, as if protecting her from something dangerous. But I felt a strange sense of relief. Finally, the truth was out. No more pretending, no more vague explanations. My mother had said what she really thought, what she had probably thought for years. "Thank you for being honest, Mom," I said quietly. My calmness seemed to unsettle her more than if I had yelled. Now I know exactly where my daughter and I stand in this family. Faith, I did not mean, my mother started, but I held up my hand. Yes, you did. You meant every word. And I appreciate that you finally had the courage to say it out loud. And I looked around the room at all the faces watching us. My daughter is 7 years old. She is energetic and curious, and yes, sometimes she breaks things, because that is what 7-year-olds do, but she is also kind and creative and loving. She spent her allowance money buying Christmas presents for you. I gestured at my parents. She made you cards by hand. She has been looking forward to this Christmas for months. I reached into my purse and pulled out the carefully wrapped gifts Lily had prepared. The snow globe for my mother, the coffee mug for my father, the drawings she had made for Max and Chloe. I placed them on the coffee table. She spent hours on these, because to her, you are her family. She loves you without conditions or requirements. She does not know that you have decided she is not good enough. She does not know that you rank your grandchildren. She does not know that her own grandparents think she is inferior. My mother had tears running down her face now. Faith, please, you are twisting this. We just wanted one peaceful holiday. Without Lily. Say it, Mom. You wanted a peaceful holiday without my daughter. I looked at my father. And you went along with it. You who used to tell me that family was the most important thing in the world. You excluded your own granddaughter because she is not as perfect as Thomas's children. My father cleared his throat. You are overreacting. She is just a child. She will not remember this. That is where you are wrong, Dad. Children remember everything, and I will not let her grow up thinking she is not good enough. I will not let her believe that love has to be earned through perfect behavior. I turned to Thomas. And you. You let this happen. You knew what they were planning and you said nothing. You brought your children here and pretended it was normal that your niece was excluded. What kind of brother does that? Thomas finally looked at me. There was guilt in his eyes, but also defensiveness. I was protecting my children's relationship with their grandparents by teaching them that it is okay to exclude people who are different, by showing them that some family members matter more than others. What kind of lesson is that? I looked at Max and Chloe. They were both crying now, overwhelmed by the adult conflicts swirling around them. I softened my voice. Max, Chloe, I love you both very much. None of this is your fault. I hope someday you will understand what happened here tonight. Then I looked back at my parents. You taught me to value family above all else. You taught me that love was unconditional. But you have shown me that your version of family has conditions. Your version of love has requirements, and my daughter does not meet those requirements. I picked up my purse. So here is what is going to happen. From now on, Lily and I will build our own traditions. We will create our own version of family, one that does not rank people, that does not exclude children for being children. And we will be just fine without you. My mother reached out toward me. Faith, you do not mean that. I do mean it. I will not bring my daughter back into this house until you understand what you did. Not until you understand that you hurt a 7-year-old girl who loves you. Not until you can apologize to her, not to me, to her, and mean it. Robert stood taller, trying to reclaim control. You are being ridiculous. This is our house, and we decide who we invite. You are absolutely right, Dad. It is your house, and you have made it very clear who is welcome here and who is not. I am simply respecting your decision. I looked at him steadily. But here is the thing about choices. They have consequences. You chose to exclude Lily. Now you have to live with the consequence of me choosing to protect her from people who do not value her, even if those people are my own parents. I walked toward the door. Before I left, I turned back one more time. Lily made you those presents because she loves you, not because you are perfect grandparents, not because you always do the right thing, but because in her heart you are still her family. I hope someday you will be worthy of that love." Then I walked out, closing the door behind me on the shocked silence. I got in my car, my hands shaking as I tried to put the key in the ignition. The adrenaline that had carried me through the confrontation was fading, replaced by a wave of emotion so strong I had to grip the steering wheel to steady myself. But I did not cry. Not yet. I had one more thing to do. I drove straight to Portland. It took 45 minutes, and the entire way I kept replaying the scene in my parents' house. My mother's words, my father's dismissiveness, Thomas's betrayal. But beneath the hurt was something else. Pride. I had stood up for my daughter. I had drawn a line. I had protected her in the way she needed to be protected. I arrived at Marcus's apartment at 8:30. He opened the door with a concerned expression. "You are here early. What happened? Is Lily asleep?" "No, we just finished watching a Christmas movie. She is in the living room." I walked in to find Lily sitting on the couch in her new pajamas surrounded by stuffed animals. When she saw me, her face lit up. "Mommy, you are here. Did you have fun at Grandma and Grandpa's party?" I sat down next to her and pulled her onto my lap. "You know what, baby, I decided Grandma and Grandpa's party was not as important as being with you. So I left. You left. But it is Christmas Eve." "I know, and I want to spend it with the most important person in my life. You." I kissed the top of her head. "How about we have our own Christmas Eve party? Just you and me." "Really, can Daddy come too?" I looked at Marcus, who was leaning against the doorway watching us. "If Daddy wants to." "I would love to," he said quietly. So that is what we did. The three of us in Marcus's small apartment in Portland celebrated Christmas Eve. We made hot chocolate with too many marshmallows. We watched a Christmas movie. We read "'Twas the Night Before Christmas" together with Lily snuggled between us on the couch. At midnight, Marcus let Lily open one present. It was a new art set she had been wanting, and her squeal of delight was the best sound I had heard all day. After Lily finally fell asleep in the guest room, Marcus and I sat at his kitchen table drinking coffee. "Are you okay?" he asked. "I do not know yet. Ask me in a few days." "What you did took courage. Or stupidity. I just destroyed my relationship with my entire family." "No. They destroyed it when they decided your daughter was not good enough. You just refused to pretend it was okay." I told him everything that had happened at the party. He listened without interrupting, occasionally shaking his head or clenching his jaw when I repeated something particularly hurtful. "Lily is lucky to have you," he said when I finished. "I am lucky to have her. She reminds me every day what unconditional love looks like." I wrapped my hands around my coffee mug. I do not know what happens next. My parents might never speak to me again. Thomas will probably take their side. I might have just cut myself off from my entire family. Or, Marcus said, you might have just taught them the most important lesson they will ever learn. That real love does not come with conditions. That you cannot play favorites with children and expect there to be no consequences. We sat in comfortable silence for a while. Then Marcus said, "You and Lily can stay here tonight if you want. There is no reason to drive back to Seattle this late." "Are you sure?" "Absolutely. It is Christmas. You should be somewhere that feels like home," so we stayed. And when I woke up Christmas morning to find Lily jumping on the bed yelling, "It's Christmas! It's Christmas!" I felt something I had not expected to feel. Peace. Marcus made pancakes while Lily and I opened presents. She loved everything from the books to the art supplies to the new stuffed penguin that she immediately named Mr. Waddles. We video called Marcus's parents who lived in California, and they sang Christmas carols to Lily through the phone. We played games, we laughed, we were happy. Around noon, my phone buzzed. It was my mother. I stared at the screen for a long moment before answering. "Hello?" "Faith." My mother's voice was thick, like she had been crying. "I need to talk to you." "I am listening." What you said last night, about Lily, about us, I have been up all night thinking about it. I waited, not helping her, not making this easier. You were right. I did exclude her. I did decide that Thomas's children were easier, better behaved, more suitable, and I did not think about how that would hurt her. Or you. Mom, I appreciate you saying that, but I meant what I said. I need you to apologize to Lily, not to me. She is the one you hurt. I know. I want to do that. But Faith, I need you to understand something too. I was wrong about the why, but I was not wrong that Lily can be difficult sometimes. I felt my defenses rising, but I forced myself to listen. What I mean is, my mother continued, Lily is more spirited than Max and Chloe. She is louder, more energetic, more unpredictable. And instead of appreciating those qualities, I saw them as problems. I compared her to your brother's children instead of loving her for who she is. That is exactly the problem, Mom. I know, and I am sorry. I am sorry for excluding her. I am sorry for making you feel like your daughter was not good enough. I am sorry for betraying your trust. I closed my eyes, feeling tears start to form. It hurt, Mom. It hurt so much to realize that my own parents had been judging my daughter, ranking her against her cousins, and finding her wanting. I know, and I do not know if I can ever make this right, but I want to try. If you will let me. It is not about me letting you, Mom. It is about you understanding what you did and making sure it never happens again. And it is about you making this right with Lily. I want to do that. Will you let me see her? Let me apologize to her. I looked over at Lily, who was playing with Mr. Waddles, making him dance across the coffee table. Not today. Today is her day, and it has been perfect. I do not want to interrupt that with heavy emotions, but maybe in a few days we can talk about it. I understand. Faith, I love you. And I love Lily. I know I did not show it the right way, but I do. I know you do, Mom. But love is not enough if it comes with conditions. Lily deserves to be loved for exactly who she is, not who you want her to be. After we hung up, I sat holding my phone. Marcus came and sat next to me. Your mom? Yeah, she apologized, or started to anyway. How do you feel? Confused, angry, sad, hopeful, all of it at once. I looked at him. Is it wrong that I want to forgive her? No, but it is not wrong to wait until she proves she has really changed either. You do not owe anyone instant forgiveness, Faith. Not even your parents. Over the next few weeks, my mother called several times. She sent texts, she sent cards. Each time she said she wanted to apologize to Lily, wanted to make things right. But I made her wait. Not to punish her, but because I needed to be sure. I needed to see real change, not just words. Thomas called once. The conversation was awkward and painful. He did not apologize, but he did admit that he had known excluding Lily was wrong and had gone along with it anyway. I told him I needed time before I could have a real relationship with him again. He said he understood, though I was not sure he really did. My father never called. That hurt more than I expected it to. 3 months passed. 3 months of building new routines with Lily. 3 months of discovering that we could be happy without the extended family that had always defined our holidays. 3 months of Lily thriving in an environment where she was never compared to anyone else, never found lacking. I joined a support group for single parents. I met women and men who were navigating similar challenges, who understood the weight of doing it alone, who did not judge my choices or my daughter. We formed our own little community. On Super Bowl Sunday, 5 of us got together with our kids. The children played while we talked, laughed, and supported each other. Lily made 2 new friends that day. She came home exhausted and happy, already planning the next play date. At work, I got a promotion. It came with more responsibility, but also more flexibility. My boss, who was also a single mother, told me she had always admired how I balanced everything. I had never thought of myself as admirable. I was just doing what needed to be done. But hearing those words helped. Marcus and I developed an even better co-parenting relationship. He started coming to Seattle more often so he could attend Lily's school events. We had dinner together, sometimes the three of us, and it felt comfortable. Not like we were trying to be a family again, but like we were creating a new kind of family. One based on respect and genuine affection rather than obligation. Lily continued to be exactly who she had always been. Energetic, curious, sometimes too loud, sometimes breaking things accidentally, but always authentically herself. And I loved every chaotic, messy moment of it, because I had learned something important. My daughter did not need to be calmer or quieter or more obedient to be worthy of love. She needed to be herself. And anyone who could not see how special that was did not deserve a place in our lives. In March, my mother asked if she could visit, just her, not my father. I agreed, but I told her Lily and I would meet her at a neutral location. We chose a park near my apartment, one where Lily loved to play. My mother arrived looking older than I remembered. The past 3 months had aged her. She sat on a bench next to me while Lily played on the swings, unaware of the significance of this meeting. "Thank you for letting me come," my mother said. "I told you I would once I felt ready. Today feels like the right time." We sat in silence for a moment, watching Lily swing higher and higher, her laughter carrying across the playground. "She is beautiful," my mother said softly. "She has always been beautiful. I do not know why I could not see it before." "You saw it, Mom. You just let other things cloud your vision." My mother nodded. "Can I talk to her? Can I tell her what I need to tell her?" "In a minute. First, I need to know something. Have you really changed, or are you just here because you miss having us in your life?" "Both," my mother said honestly. "I miss you terribly. I miss Lily, but more than that, I have spent these months thinking about what you said, about conditional love, about ranking children. And I realized you were right. I did those things. I did them without even fully acknowledging it to myself. And I hurt an innocent child because of my own prejudices." "What prejudices?" "About what grandchildren should be like, about what makes a child good or bad. I had this picture in my mind and Lily did not fit it. So instead of changing my picture, I tried to change her, or worse, I tried to exclude her." My mother wiped her eyes. "I am so ashamed, Faith." "Shame is not what I want from you, Mom. I want understanding. I want real change. Can you promise me that if we let you back into our lives, you will never again make Lily feel like she is not enough?" "I promise, and if I fail, if I slip back into old patterns, I give you permission to call me out immediately. Do not let me get away with it." I called Lily over. She came running, her cheeks flushed from playing. When she saw my mother, she stopped suddenly shy. She had not seen her grandmother in 3 months, and at 7 years old, that was a long time. "Lily, Grandma wants to talk to you. Is that okay?" Lily nodded, moving a little closer but keeping some distance. My mother got down on her knees so she was at Lily's eye level. "Lily, I need to say something very important to you. I need to apologize." Lily tilted her head, confused. "For what? For not inviting you to our Christmas party, for making you feel like you were not wanted, for being unfair to you." "Why did not you want me there?" Lily asked, the hurt evident in her voice. "Because I made a mistake, a big mistake. I thought you were too loud and too messy. I thought you would ruin the party. But I was wrong. You know why." Lily shook her head. "Because a party without you is not really a family party. Because being loud and energetic is not a bad thing. It is who you are, and who you are is wonderful. I should have loved that about you instead of trying to change it." Lily considered this. Then she said, "Max asked why I was not there. I told him I was with my dad, but I was sad I missed it. I know. And I am so, so sorry I made you sad. You did not deserve that. You deserve to be included and loved exactly as you are." My mother's voice cracked. "Can you forgive me?" Lily thought about it for a long moment. Then, in the way that children have of offering grace more easily than adults, she stepped forward and hugged my mother. "It is okay, Grandma. Everyone makes mistakes." My mother wrapped her arms around Lily and cried. I cried too, watching them, because this was what healing looked like. Messy, imperfect, but real. After a while, Lily pulled back. "Can I go back to the swings now?" "Of course, baby." As Lily ran off, my mother stood up. "Thank you for giving me this chance. This is not about chances, Mom. This is about change, real, lasting change. Can you do that?" "I am going to try. Every single day, I am going to try." We talked for another hour while Lily played. My mother told me about the conversations she had been having with my father, who was more resistant to admitting fault. She told me about the rift that had formed between her and Thomas because she had started calling him out on his complicity. She told me that Christmas had been miserable without us, that she had spent the entire day regretting what she had done. I did not offer sympathy. She did not deserve it yet. But I did offer something else. A path forward. Slowly, carefully, with clear boundaries and expectations, we could rebuild. Not the relationship we had before, but something new. Something healthier. Over the following months, my mother proved herself. She came to Lily's school play and cheered louder than anyone else. She invited us to Sunday brunch at a restaurant, keeping it short and pressure-free. She sent cards that celebrated Lily's unique personality instead of trying to mold her into something different. She never once mentioned Max and Chloe in comparison. My father took longer. He did not come to those early meetings. When he finally did agree to see us 6 months after Christmas, his apology was stilted and uncomfortable. But it was there. He admitted he had been wrong. He asked Lily for forgiveness. It was not perfect, but it was a start. Thomas and I maintained a cordial but distant relationship. He never fully acknowledged his role in what happened. We saw each other at family gatherings that slowly started to happen again, but the closeness we once had was gone. Maybe someday we would rebuild it. Maybe not. I had made peace with either outcome. Today, it has been a year and a half since that Christmas. Lily is 8 years old now. She still sees her grandparents, but our relationship is different. There are boundaries, there are conversations, there is respect. Last Christmas, my parents invited us to their house again. Before I agreed, I had a long talk with both of them. I made it clear that Lily needed to feel welcomed, not tolerated. That if anyone compared her to Max and Chloe, we would leave immediately. That she deserved to be celebrated for who she was. They agreed, and when we arrived, my mother had made a special effort. She had hung artwork that Lily had drawn. She had baked Lily's favorite cookies. She had asked Lily ahead of time what activities she would enjoy and had planned accordingly. It was not perfect. There were moments when I could see my mother biting her tongue, fighting her impulse to correct or criticize. But she was trying. That was what mattered. Lily had a wonderful time. She played with Max and Chloe, and yes, she was louder and more chaotic than they were. But my parents smiled and watched her with what looked like genuine affection. When she accidentally knocked over a vase, my mother just laughed and said, "That is why we have glue." I am not naive. I know that old patterns can resurface. I know that my parents still have work to do, that my father still struggles with accepting Lily fully, that Thomas probably still thinks I overreacted. But I also know that I did the right thing. I protected my daughter. I taught her that she does not have to earn love through perfect behavior. I showed her that someone will always stand up for her, even when it is hard. The other day, Lily asked me, "Mommy, why did Grandma not want me at Christmas that one time?" I had been dreading this question, but also preparing for it. Because Grandma made a mistake. She thought you needed to be different than who you are. But she learned that was wrong. She learned that you are perfect exactly as you are. Did you fix it? We both fixed it, baby. Grandma by learning and changing, and me by making sure you always know how valuable you are. Lily thought about this, then nodded. I am glad she learned. I like going to Grandma and Grandpa's house now. Me too, sweetheart. That conversation taught me something important. Children are resilient, but they also remember. Lily will always remember that Christmas when she was not invited, but now she will also remember that her mother stood up for her. She will remember that mistakes can be acknowledged and relationships can be repaired. She will remember that she is worthy of unconditional love. My parents learned that love is not about perfection. It is about acceptance. They learned that you cannot rank children and expect there to be no consequences. They learned that sometimes the people who love you the most will also hold you accountable when you are wrong. And I learned something too. I learned that sometimes the greatest gift you can give your child is not a perfect family. It is the courage to stand up for them when no one else will. It is the willingness to walk away from people who do not value them, even when those people are your own parents. It is showing them through your actions that their worth is not up for debate. Family is not just about blood. It is about who shows up for you, who protects you, who loves you even when you are messy and loud and imperfect. My family looks different now than it did 2 years ago. It includes Marcus, who is my friend and co-parent. It includes the single parents in my support group who understand my struggles. It includes my coworkers who cover for me when Lily is sick. It includes my Aunt Helen who never stopped calling, even when my parents and I were not speaking. And yes, it includes my parents again, but on new terms, with new understanding, with the knowledge that this relationship is a privilege, not a right, and that it depends on them treating my daughter with the respect and love she deserves. So here's my question for you. When was the last time you stood up for what was right, even when it cost you something precious? When was the last time you protected someone who could not protect themselves, even when it meant going against your own family? Because sometimes the hardest choices lead to the most beautiful transformations. If you have ever had to make a difficult choice to protect someone you love, I want to hear about it. Drop a comment below and share your story. Let's support each other in doing the hard but necessary work of creating healthy boundaries and demanding the respect our children deserve. And if this story resonated with you, please hit that like button. Share this video with someone who might need to hear it. Subscribe to this channel for more real stories about family parenting and the courage it takes to stand up for what is right. Your support means everything and helps these stories reach people who need them most. Thank you for listening to my story. Thank you for being here. I hope that wherever you are in your own journey, you find the strength to protect the people you love and the courage to demand better from those who should know better. Wishing you and your families a future filled with unconditional love, mutual respect, and the kind of acceptance that makes everyone feel truly at home. Take care of yourselves and each other. You deserve it.